The amount of negative comments I read every day on social media about expats is just nonsense. You open any video where a person shares their experience about moving to another country, moving to, I don't know, Colombia, moving to Portugal, and the comment section is just what is happening. It's full of locals saying, go back to your country, we don't want you here, you're the reason why our country is poor, you're basically responsible for everything that's happening in our country. And in this video I wanted to talk to you and see if that's really the case. Why do local people hate on immigrants, on expats, and are expats that terrible? So if you're interested in learning more about this topic, well, let's get started. What is immigration anyway? According to Cambridge Dictionary, immigration is the act of someone coming to live in a different country. The term appeared in 17th century, referring to non-warlike population moving to other places. So basically people were moving from the 17th century. Can you imagine that? Thousands of people move to different countries on annual basis, but why do they do that? Some people look for a better place, some people look for a happier place, some people, like my husband, look for a warmer place. First, we have economic reasons. Better salaries, more jobs, better standard of living. Secondly, we have education. Many people, like let's say myself, moved to different countries to get educated, to get another degree, simply because in other countries, in my case in Canada, there are better educational opportunities. Another group of reasons why people move is political reasons. If there's something happening in the country, let's say a war, then some people decide that it's better to leave the place of birth, the place of living, and go somewhere else. There are also different reasons, like family reasons. For example, somebody married someone in another country, they moved there. There are cultural reasons, there are environmental reasons, the list goes on and on. And in most of the cases, the government benefits from those people. They launch easy visa program, they offer some tax reductions, discounts, making their country a prime destination for those people who want to move. Also, government is interested in foreigners come to their place and spend money. And maybe those foreigners were not even considering a certain country, but then they heard that you can get residency fast, that you can get a discount on your taxes, and voila! These people are considering this country to move to. Are they to blame for looking for a better place for themselves or potentially for their children? Tell me what you think in the comments. Yes, people choose to immigrate themselves. They make that decision. But let's not forget that governments also have their reasons to attract foreigners, immigrants, expats, as you will, to their countries. The first one is economic growth, money. Foreigners bring money, they start businesses, they fill labor shortages, and the most important part that some people might forget, they pay taxes. Some countries are interested in bringing some talents, some qualified workers to their country so they can develop that industry, for example. And also I think many countries are interested in being a diversified country kind of thing. For example, Canada, that brings people from different backgrounds, who speak different languages, who have their own different traditions in their country. And the sad truth is that government is busy attracting those foreigners to their countries, and sometimes they forget about the locals who were born and raised and live in that country. And it's not only Portugal I'm talking about. Anywhere you go, locals will have the same problems. And the expats or immigrants, they'll be happy. They're like, oh yeah, I moved here, everything is super affordable, the weather is nice, if they move to Portugal and not Canada, for example. You literally talk a person in Canada, born and raised Canadian, and say, I paid for my college $20,000. They'll be like, what the hell? Like, why? And if I tell that to an international student, they might say, oh, that's pretty affordable because if you study in the UK or if you go to a university in Canada, you will pay 40, 50, 60K. And that is the case for many places. Spain, Germany, Canada, Portugal, you name it. So why do locals hate immigrants? If immigrants bring so much joy and happiness and money to their countries? Well, first of all, it's not really accurate to say that all locals hate all expats. In some cases, yes, there might be tension, but it really depends, I guess, on the country. I've never heard of a case where the whole country is like, we hate you, go home. No, it's mostly some individuals here and there. And the major reason for hating expats is that immigrants drive up the prices. Take Portugal. Portugal is experiencing a housing crisis because many people moved here, including myself. 10 years ago, you could find an apartment, I don't know, for 500 euros. Now this apartment would cost you 2,500. And that happens because people from wealthier countries come to Portugal. They're like, oh, hey, I can live on 1,000 monthly, perfect. But then the landlords are like, hey, these people can pay more. We're gonna increase the rent. So the rent now in Lisbon, if you're planning to move, my condolences, because it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just ridiculous. With rising prices, it's difficult for locals to afford even a room. We're not talking about an apartment, even a room in Lisbon. So many locals just move out to smaller cities. They go to further neighborhoods where they can actually rent something. Because let's say again, in Lisbon, the prices are just nuts. The second reason why locals might not like expats is that immigrants, expats, they come, they do not learn any language. Meaning they don't kind of respect the country, the culture they're in. And for me, it's a big no-no. I mean, if you move into another country, spend some time learning at least basic phrases so you can go to a store and say, hi, how are you? Thank you, please. You can answer questions like, do you need a bag? Do you have like a card or something? At least try learning something. It's not only about being able to communicate with the locals, it's also about respecting them. You come to their country, you live here, and then you cannot even say a few words. That is disrespectful, first of all. Second of all, I'm judging you. Of course, you can survive without speaking the language, but if you spent last 10 years in a country and you do not speak the language, I have a lot of questions for you. Another reason for hating on expats is that those people come and they think they're better than the rest. So they behave as they're in their country and they don't care about the rest, basically. They demand certain things, they complain about certain things, and that's what I get hate for every time I say that, hey, I don't have a dryer in my apartment or I don't have heating in my apartment. People say, well, you're not in Canada, go back to Canada and enjoy your heating. I'm just sharing my experience. I'm not like complaining. Sharing an experience and complaining, those are different words, my friends. I think you need to learn the difference. But there are actually people who would come and complain and always compare everything like, oh, back when I used to live in blah blah, it was like that. Yeah, I would hate those people too. And another one, which is my favorite, calling themselves expats. I don't know why people don't like the word expat. Based on TikTok, it's just a white immigrant. But if you look into a dictionary, an expat is basically someone who does not live in their country. And immigrant is a person who came to live in a different country. What is the difference? I see no difference. However, every time people hear the word expat, they start, you're immigrants, you're not expats. And I'm like, those are literally synonyms, my friend. And the question here, are expats or immigrants that terrible? Yes and no. So yes, they move to countries, the prices go up, the country or the city becomes unaffordable. But at the same time, those peoples who move to other countries, in most cases, they're highly qualified. And it's not me saying that, it's literally the immigration programs. Any immigration program you take, there are programs for highly qualified people. A. B. Those people, in most cases, they already have businesses, or they come to another country and they open businesses, meaning they provide jobs for people, they pay salaries, and they pay taxes. Because I feel like people tend to forget that part. And we're not talking about digital nomads who come to a country, live for a month, and then they pay taxes who knows where. But immigrants, expats, people who permanently live in a certain country, they do pay taxes. And those taxes, yeah, they go to the same things as local people pay taxes. So they go to healthcare, social services, same as everywhere in the world. I think this question is literally eternal because immigrants will be always looking for a better place, and then there would be locals who would be not happy about that. All I have to say here is just be nice to each other. When I see those comments, people raging and yelling at other people saying, go back where you came from, that's just not nice. I don't know. I mean, maybe if I was in that situation where I could not afford things because somebody came to my country, I would think differently. But I mean, we should all remain human. And this is it for today. If you're a local suffering from the expats, I feel really sorry for you. And if immigrants, expats can do something to change the situation, please let us know. And if you're an immigrant moving to another country, well, best of luck with your move. Please don't forget to be respectful. Please don't forget to be nice. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.